Okay, it's 9:30, so let's kind of get started here. I'd like to welcome you all to the MLS training course for newbies. Give me just a second, close my door. And sorry for saying newbies, but I'm still a newbie in a lot of areas, so you're never, my mom used to say, you're never done learning, because once you start learning, things start dying. So let's get started. So I've only got video on one person, so I can't see anything, but has everybody been able to sign into the MLS? Are you at least able to sign in? If you are not, raise your hand or say something.
I'm able to sign in.
Okay, and that was Twania.
Tawana.
And what about Alyssa? Alyssa, are you able to sign in?
Yes, I have access as well.
Okay. And Cherry, you didn't raise your hand, so you're good. Thumbs up. Okay, good deal. All right, so I'm going to be sharing over to my other screen here so you guys can see what I'm seeing and not my ugly mug. All right, the old saying, I got a voice for radio. So you guys see this? This is my screen. All right, so these are all the different things I've got access to. This first page is netris.net. This is a newer page that's been launched in just the last couple of months. And it has some, it's the main thing. Oh, we got a couple people joining in. All right. So this main site, which is netris.net, is a new site that they launched to get some information, and it's also a shortcut. So what it does, it has all the different things that Netris, which is North Texas Regional Real Estate Information Systems. It's the guys that provide the technology for our MLS. So all the different boards feed to them. Currently, if you guys need it, this is the current map of our MLS area. So right now we have MLS, it's all the way out to Scurry County, to the west, to Wichita Falls, basically the Red River to the north, to Waco to the south, and to Terrell on the east. So we cover a very large area. We just signed an agreement that Netris is also running the MLS for the northern Louisiana area, Shreveport in that area. So we do cover a very large area, and like everything else, like your real estate offices and everything else like that, we're constantly growing. So some of the nice things that this has in here is it has a bunch of forms and documents that you could, it's got all the rules on clear cooperation, the rules and regulations. It's got information for consumers. It's got ways to get support on all your different systems, and of course, contact us. I would like to say that just contact me. I'm usually quicker and I can get the answers quicker for you guys. So let's kind of go over. Now, this is the North Texas main site dashboard that you guys come to. And if we kind of go through all these different things, this is how you access the MLS, accessing tax, accessing trends. Trends are to print out reports to give to your clients and customers about, you know, how sales have been going, prices, and all that stuff. The Core Logic Matrix Learning Lab is a online resource to get some training on One Home, especially seeing as how that's the newest product that's out there. Then we have, so we've got Remind here. You've got Realtor.com professional search, which also used to be called Find, and we've got RPR here. What those three systems have in common is they are great ways that you could stalk people. No other way of saying it. You could find out so much information all over the country and in some parts of Canada about people's houses and everything else like that. It's kind of between these three systems, you pretty much have a nationwide MLS. So I was able, my family's all over the country. I'm a military brat. I was in the military for a very short period of time, but I was able to do CMAs from everybody from up in Maine, outside of Bangor, all the way down to Florida, all the way to California, and all the way up to Washington. I was able to pull up everybody's houses and do a complete CMA just as good as any real estate agent in that area by using these three systems. So my thing is, if you're looking for a house up in Utah and you don't find it on Remind, come down here into RPR and you'll probably find it there, or go over to Find. Realtor.com Professional. Realtor.com Professional is also a way that you guys could access your listings and put different things on there, put more pictures, put better explanations, put other links in there. This allows you into your listings to be able to just give it all the puff. All right, so the three things here are the Cloud MLX, Cloud CMA, and Cloud Streams. Those are all paid things that right now are being provided for you guys. I'll be having a separate class on all the cloud stuff, so I'm not going to get into it now. Right next to it, we got Instanet. So there's transactions that's here, and then there's zip forms that's here. These are two different ways of preparing your forms for sending out through the internet for signatures. They're both done by the same company, which is Lone Wolf. Zip Forms is the original product that's out there, and Instanet Transaction Desk, it's the same thing, and that was just launched last year. The best way to kind of think of it is Transaction Desk is Zip Forms on steroids. It's got a little bit of a CRM in there. It pulls information. It does a lot more being able to autofill forms and contracts. Then down here, there's Homes Connect. I already went over Find. Homes Connect is a way to get into homes.com, which is a paid asset. It also allows some of the same thing as realtor.com, but homes.com is a secondary benefit. RE Technology, real estate technology, is a way to get news on real estate technology. You know, what's the newest thing that's coming out there, lock boxes, things like that, new computer systems that are coming out. That's all accessible through the RE Technology. You guys will not have this. This is strictly a me thing. You guys call up and say, hey, I can't get in. What's my password? That's where I go to find out people's passwords. Netra's Translator is a way to make your website. So we have a very rudimentary, easy, simple website that's that you're able to build and share out to your clients so they can go in there, and Translator actually translates it into whatever language you guys want. It's through Google, so you name the language and it'll translate it for you. NAR member resources, a way to get into NAR system. It's got some really good stuff. Right now, there's a big old push for the CEX2, and this will get you in there and you can see all that stuff. Builders Update and New Home Source. Just like there's multiple ways to find out information about different parts of the country, there's multiple ways to find out about new homes, because people have, you know, builders have different homes that they feed to. And so between these two, you have pretty much every new home builder, major new home builder, not these little small guys that are building 2 or 3 houses at a time, but everybody that's a major home builder will be on these two sites. Supra is a way to get into your lock boxes. You could access the history of your lockbox. You could access, you could change the programming. All those things are accessible through the Supra. It's a really good thing if somebody says, hey, who came into my house last night? And you could go into the Supra system and actually pull up a report of everybody that's accessed your lockbox. Announce my listing and rate plug. Those are both add-in features. They're currently part of what you get through Netris, but it's a yearly contract, so we don't know. Rate plug is a way to get rates for electricity, water, and everything else for a neighborhood. Announce my listing is an advertising source that you can use to advertise your listings. Announce my listings, kind of self-explanatory. Property panorama So currently, when you guys put a listing on MLS and you guys put all your pictures in, one of the first things that happens is Property Panorama turns it into a virtual tour. So this is the program that will do that. So you go in and you can actually remove pictures that you don't want in the virtual tour. So if you don't want, say, the bathrooms in the virtual tour, it will just, you can eliminate it, make a new one. And this is currently the only link to any kind of showing system that we've got. It used to be CSS, but CSS is now Showing Time. So this is a direct link into their system. These are different links that are just for the people up in North Louisiana. So we're not going to worry about that because you guys can't access it. Any questions on that part? And remember, you could always send me a little raise your hand or something like that, and I'll be able to answer your questions. All right, so let's continue on. Let's go into MLS. So this is the main part of the MLS. Sorry, that was a property I was working on. And whenever you sign in, this is where you guys go to. And everybody's is going to look a little bit different, but they're also the same because you can click on something, drag it around, put it wherever you want. You also have the ability just to get rid of something by putting an X. And if you do that, it doesn't go away. It's not gone forever. Where it goes into is the additional. So you see all these things here? These are new tabs that you can bring back out and place wherever you want to. So if you don't use it, like I'm not using too many contacts right now, so I don't have it. I'm not using One Home because I'm not a real estate agent. I used to be, but my license is inactive now. And then there's also like the Learning Lab. So you can close it, you can refresh it, you can put them wherever you want to. These are hot sheets. I'll be having another class on how to set up hot sheets, but it's kind of good because you can personalize this. Whenever you first open it up, what everybody usually gets is the entire new listings, change of prices, everything else for the entire MLS. But you could actually personalize it and make it just for, say, you're only looking in Tarrant County. That's your only area. You can change it to Tarrant County if you wanted to. This is kind of good just to kind of see what's new. That right there is the state of our market right now. In the last day, there's only been 50 new listings. And that's why the inventory is so low, is because people are just not selling their houses because frankly, right now, there's nowhere to go. You know, if you sell your house for $300,000 and you make $100,000 profit, where's your next house going to be at? Because the market's low. And so what I see right here is that there was 49 houses that were put on the market, but 50 sold. So that's a net -1 in the total available properties out there. So these are the external links. It's got all the same stuff that we've already had on there, plus some extra ones. So you get all the things that we went into before, you can get to through this area, plus a couple extra things. But let's kind of go into all the different parts of this. So dashboard always gets you back to here. Summary kind of tells what you've been doing lately. Contacts is contacts. My listings, I don't have any, so I can't really show you that, but that gives you a readout of all your listings that you have. My carts, if you save things into carts, it'll put it in here. I never really use carts. I used save searches and auto emails and things like that. Save searches are just exactly that, searches that you save for yourself. Auto emails are save searches that you're sending out to somebody. We'll go over that in a bit. Send email will track all your emails. CMAs, market analysis, be able to give people what their house value is. It tracks that, and then my information. So before we go any further, let's kind of go into my information. So a lot of this information that's in here is, see how it's lightly grayed? That means that you can't access that. The only thing that you could change on here is a phone number, the tagline, or additional information. Okay. All the rest of it is saved by us. So if you need anything changed on that, a lot of people are using their personal information when they first become a real estate agent and they need to change to a business one. That's perfectly acceptable. Just let us know what it is, and we update the system. Then on header and footer, I always had just a really basic one. I didn't really have that much information. I never had a header or footer because frankly, it wasted too much paper and people wanted to see the information. They didn't want to see the banners. CMA cover sheet was the same thing. I just had basic information. You could personalize this, add some more things, upload a picture. Email signature. So you guys have already probably had to talk about the sending the IABS to your clients. This is a really good place to put the link for your IABS because a lot of us will get a phone call saying, hey, I need some information about the house at 1234 Main Street. Well, this way, whenever you send that property, it has the IABS already attached to it. I was going over this before, which is your agent web page. So this is a very basic, rudimentary web page. But what it does, it gives people the ability just by enabling web page, and it has your name in here, .matrix.netrix.net. And what that does is it creates a custom web page for your clients to go to where they can search on properties and everything else like that. But this is where you make it up. And then one home information. Basically, right now, all it has is a photo in there. But once you get inside the system as an agent, you can go in and set up all your information. Any questions on the My Matrix? All right, before we go into search, I'm going to go over this little button here. So this is I call it speed search. They have a different name for it, but this is an all property search. So when somebody calls up and says, hey, I need some information about this property, and you put it in here, it doesn't matter what type of property it is. If it has been in MLS or is on MLS, this will pull it up. It doesn't matter if it's a residential, commercial, multifamily, single side of a duplex, double side of a duplex, land. It doesn't matter. If it's in MLS, this thing will pull it up. It's really good. It's also under search under cross property, but this one is really, really good as far as getting all the information. And so it'll also tell you if the house has been sold a couple times, it'll tell you all the different times that it's sold so you can kind of see what the prices have gone through. Going across, then you got the search. So the search has got resident. You'll see that this thing's broken down. It's got a little check mark here to show the different two parts, but then it also has the two parts that are listed there. So there's no difference between going to the quick and detailed here or just going to quick and detailed there. They're all the same because people kind of figured out that they needed it, so they put it there. But then if you go down to multifamily, it's got that because this is the one that people, as real estate agents, that we use a lot. Multifamily are full duplexes on up. So you could have both sides that you're selling of a duplex. You could have a 3-unit apartment complex, a 4-unit on up. So it doesn't matter how big it is, it'll probably be in the multifamily. Lots and acreage are exactly that, raw land. Commercial is commercial listings. It's a great place that it's growing by leaps and bounds as far as people putting properties in commercial because commercial agents are starting to charge too much. Residential leases, same thing as residential sales, but it's for leases. Cross property is what we kind of went over before. It searches everything. These are some things that you might not have on your screen. This won't check for agents, be able to search agents. Admin is one that I have for being able to look at you guys when you guys call up and ask for help. Searching offices, searching open houses, history on properties, public records, which accesses everything. And then there's more stuff. There's usually not that much more. Oh, it's searching teams. Teams is a new thing that just came out. So let's kind of go into the residential quick. So this is what my residential quick looks like. And I've got a bunch of different things I'm going to go through with you. But the way that I've got it set up is I made my quick search for searching for properties. Clients call up and ask they want to see something, it's set up for that. My detailed search is for doing CMAs and looking at houses that are on the market and what property's worth. So if you notice on here, the detailed has got pending and sold, so I could track pendings and sold also. But my quick search is strictly for actives coming soon, see what's on the market or what's coming on the market. And then if you go down below here, so these are things that I have added in on my search. And a lot of people don't know about these things. So down at the very bottom, if you guys are on it and you click on it, right now you guys shouldn't have anything in here. But these are different things that I search in order to be able to help people out. So this first thing is property description. And everybody sees that when you guys are going on MLS, you got to have a whole lot of description that's in there. Well, this property description allows you to search inside of that for whatever you want. So I just kind of went over full duplex, but if you were on this one and looking at full duplexes, you also might put full duplex. And see how I put the asterisk on top of before it and after it? That's a if and only if. It's also called and it's just wild card. I'm sorry, I had to remember that name. So these stars or asterisks, shift to 8 on your keyboard, means I don't care what's in front of it, and after it means I don't care what's after it. I want to know if anything in the description says full duplex. And you guys see, once you're done with something, it'll go through and it'll actually tell how many matches. So even though we're in quick search and there's 5,000 plus searches out there, there are 4 people that went ahead and listed a full duplex under residential. So that's always something to remember. You could also put to see if people want to search that way. Second master. See, there's 29 different listings that are out of the 5,000 plus listings out there right now that somebody in the description wrote second master. Something really popular right now. There's 12 houses that have geothermal heating and cooling and electricity. So that's something, you know, and all these preppers and everything out there, they care about geothermal. So there's 12 properties in our MLS that actually have that. So going further down on this, you got listing office, listing agent MLS, listing office MLS. Those are all things that I kind of search when I'm helping out agents look for things. Housing type, all the different types of housing, occupancy, street utilities, current price per square foot. This is a really good one for your investors. You know, not too long ago, me and my investor were looking in the $50 to $70 per square foot range. And there's still some available. There's 189 properties out there that are $50 and $70 a square foot. So keep that in mind. Proposed financing. So there's different qualifications for FHA and VA that they might not be able to get qualified for because of housing condition. So if that's all they care about is they need a house that gets FHA, you might want to just click FHA and search FHA properties. So right now there's still plenty of houses out there. So let's see about FHA, and EA. There's still a lot of properties. Okay, lot description, all the different types of lot descriptions, because some people they want to be in a subdivision, some people don't want to be in a subdivision. But those are all different things that I've put in my searches. So let's wipe all this stuff out. All right, so with these checked and with Texas checked, that's what I have set up as just my default search. So if you guys are happy with those things and you've already had it marked, you come over here where it says set and clear defaults, and you could set it so every time you open it up, when you go into MLS and you click search quick, it opens up the same things. So it's always saved and it never changes. See, it says default criteria set. So if I go out of it and I go back in, it's always the same. So that's a little good thing to always remember. So this search here where it says subdivision. So I've got the asterisk after it. So there's subdivisions out there that are called Ladera Heights, Ladera Addition, Ladera Flowers, whatever you want to call it. By putting this, you're not caring about what people put in taxes. All you're caring about is the subdivision. And the reason why is because, let's just go here. Let's open up the results. So see this one here is Labara Tabolo Park in Fort Worth. And the other one is the same agent, so she put the same name, but there's people that put Ladera Tabolo Park Edition. There's people that just don't put anything. It just says Ladera Tabolo. By putting in that search, it does not matter. Just by having Ladera with the asterisk next to it, it says, I want to know everything. So it's always better to include as much as you can and then start narrowing it down. That way you don't miss anything. All right, then this middle one, this is where the address goes in searching by address. So it's got the street number and the street name, zip code, state, county. So it gives all those different things. Area and sub area. Don't worry about that. That goes back to the maps go. Remember my old thing I showed you, the old map? Let's see here. Going back to, okay. Remember this old map? If I could zoom in, see how there's a number on there? Well, that goes back to the old MapsGo books. So you're going to hear stories from people about this and that and that and this. And, you know, I remember when we used to have the MLS books, and I remember when we used to have this, and I remember when we used to have that. Well, we used to have books that were called MapsGo. And before GPS and our phones being able to do everything, we had MapsGo books, and we had MapsGo books for all the different parts of the Metroplex, and that's how we went from property to property. And before we went out on showings, we used to go and print pages and pages and pages of the map book to be able to know where we were going between stops. And that was the area and the sub area. Well, you guys have probably not seen a MapsGo book. You might have heard of one, but you haven't seen one. So that's why this whole thing's going away. Then on the far right column, you got these, which are different fields. So price, as you see, it's already filled out for the search I was running. So that says anything between 250 and 500. You can make it 250 and higher. You can make it 500 and less. So these will give all the different ranges of houses. So if I just go between 250 and 400, that's 4,200. So let's go 300, 1588. We're still at 603. A lot of houses available out there. Trying to narrow it down so I can show you guys a better map. Okay, so between 250 and 251,000, there's 127 properties. So if I click map now, it shows all the different areas that you guys can see properties out there. So once you're here, if you click on results, it'll actually show you a single line report. The single line report will tell you, and you guys will see that I've added some things to it. So because people were asking for it, I already have my search set up that it actually has the listing agent name and the first financing, because people will ask for that. Well, especially if you got people that are, they only care about FHA and VA. Well, these financings will be able to help you out with that. And that's the same thing. You come over here and you see how go back out. Once I'm going through here, my mouse is regular, but if I go over one of these things, I turn it into 4 arrows. And that means that I could drag this and put it wherever I want to. Or I can, once I'm in a window, I can, there you go. If you left click, you can insert a column. And so I can put in and now I know what the listing agent office is. So I'm able to put in all these different things that I want to. I don't really care about it, so I'm going to remove this. So you could do all that stuff, and once you're happy with it, you could click on this and do the same thing, set my current default. And then when you come over here, you see it says my agent single line. So the agent single line that you guys see is this one, right? Well, I like a little bit more information, so my single line had that. And that's a big difference. I could still see everybody else's single line by doing that, but I've got my own personal one with a little bit more information for me. Any questions on that? No? Okay, let's go forward. So let's go into detailed now. I'm sorry, we haven't finished quick. So bathrooms is the same thing. 2 to 4. If you just have the number 2, all it's going to care about is 2 bedroom or 2 bathrooms. I'm sorry. So always tell people just go ahead and drop that 2+ in there, because even if it's a half bath, you still want to know about it. It still means something. Total square foot is the same thing. If people are looking for investment houses, they might be looking for something 1,700 to 2,500. Only 1 story. Well, there's 3,000 of those. So these will all allow different things. You know, for doing a CMA, market analysis, we'll be going over all that stuff because you got different ranges of stuff to put in there. You know, a 2,000 square foot house is not the same as a 3,000 square foot house. A house built in 1979 is not the same as a house built in 2007, whatever. That houses in construction, they go through different periods. You know, everybody knows what happened in 1978, right? They got rid of lead-based paint. Well, you know that there's still some houses that were built in 1979 that had leftover lead-based paint. So just because it's the lead-based paint disclaimer says for houses built before 1978, because they were still allowed to use up their current stock. All right, so that kind of goes over to quick search. Anybody got any questions on that? Now let's go into detailed. So as I said, my detailed has about the same amount of information on here, but I've actually added in the pending for 0 to 90 to find out about houses that have been pending, and the solds 0 to 180, which I figure is about half of 6 months. It's not quite the same, but it's good enough for me. So that's the only thing that's been added, but as you can tell, it adds a lot more detailed information. And then down in the additional fields, I put different things in there as well. So room search. If people care about a certain thing, I've had where people, they want a dining room that will fit their biggest table. So houses with dining rooms that are 15 by 15 or larger, from 5,000 down to 167. So large dining rooms, that kind of something that wipes it out. Elementary school. People really care about their schools. They want to be near a school that is a good rating. They want to be near a school that feeds to better rating schools. So this allows you guys to do this. When we run the CMAs, you're caring about subdivision. If you don't have enough houses in your subdivision to care about to get your numbers, then you're coming down here and you're going to be using elementary school, because usually the same kind of houses feed to the same schools. And you see in here, it's got a whole bunch of added stuff into the lot size, parking garage. Some people really, they don't want a single garage door opener. They want 2 garage doors. So that way they can always keep one door always closed if they're using it for storage, or they have their 67 Mustang in there. They don't want their neighbors to know about it. So they want double doors. It has more areas down here for a number of fireplace, pools on the property, mud. Does everybody know what mud means? Municipal utility district. That means they can't really go out and get different utility companies. It's all set in stone. You've got to use the same one. Whether it's handicapped accessible or whatever you need, this would be a good way to search for it. Photo count, if you're only caring about properties that have 10 plus photos. HOA, no matter what you guys think, there's good things and bad things about each HOA. So you could have really, really strict HOAs that some people like. You can have very, very loose or no HOAs, which some people really, really hate because people start parking their cars on the lawns. So say what you want. HOAs are good and bad. So deal with what your clients have. Then going down here, we get into more of the stuff that I was talking about. I'll be having a different class on that part. Stats. Stats is the same thing about that you're going to see in trends. So you'll be able to see historically sales by year. So if I were to go and just, let's put in the area around our Arlington border right now, 76017. 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses, historical sales by year, and I generate a graph. Okay, you can see that going back to June 2020, there was a little over 40 properties that listed. It's gone up and it's gone down. But right now, last month, it kind of went under 20, and it's been that way, dropping ever since. So that kind of shows what is happening in the market. It also says the list price, and this should be just about the reverse of that. So it was really, really high back in January 2016, which that was a fluke. I don't know what caused that. I'd have to look more about it. But you see, it's kind of been about even, and that's starting to go up. Days on market. How's that for give you a headache? So this gives the green is days to sell. So it says that days on market has gone back in 2016. It was 15 days. January of last year, right before the virus hit, it was up there. We had 15 days, which really wasn't that much to think about, 15 days on the market. And then it dropped down, and right now it's under 5 days on market for this area. Whereas the blue, which is the list price, it's gone steadily up. It drops a little bit here and there, but you can tell about the same time, it's kind of like the exact opposite of the other one. Original price versus sold price. So the green is the original price and the blue is the sold price. So you can tell just by this that is definitely a seller's market because the properties are selling more. Realist tax. Realist tax is a system that we use to pull tax records from every different tax entity in Texas. So you could look at any property you want in here. Let me go back to this. Recent searches. $217 Oak. So I could look up a house. And I click on it and it gives all the different properties out there. So it's always good to start with the least amount of information that you have and go forward. This will show that there was 6 different properties. So between here, I can usually figure out what it is. And once you click on a property and you open up the report, it'll tell all the different things about the property. So the nice thing is this is already built into our system and it pulls from all the different appraisal districts. The bad thing is this is another source of information. So sometimes it has the wrong information. If you see anything that's wrong, let me know and I get it corrected. It usually takes a couple weeks. Things that have happened is they haven't put identifiers in. So we got to put identifiers in so it maps properly. Some people have the square footage wrong. You got to remember that when people do improvements on their house, they never want to admit it to the city so they don't increase their taxes. But this house might have had an addition. It's now 1,900 square feet and they want it corrected. Well, we need to know if it's been properly documented with the city, and that can be done. Other things are the years sometimes wrong. We get those corrected. But like I said, if there's anything that you need on this thing, let us know and we can get it corrected. But this links everything in the appraisal districts back to the MLS. All right, going here is the same thing that was on the original dashboard. You see all these external links. They're also under links here. So this actually allows you to go straight from the MLS into transaction desk, document manager, all the different areas. There's zip form here. Zip form is an older product. So right now what's happening is it takes you into Texas Realtor and then you log in here and you can go there. Or if you hit transaction desk, it'll actually just take you right into transaction desk. A lot of offices are going to transaction desk because it allows the office manager or the broker to be able to review contracts and things like that. But this is a dashboard that has it. You guys will see it that way. All right. So that's all the different links that there are. Finance is calculators. I don't really use these things. The first things you guys should do, there's going to be a lot of first things. But one of the things that you need to do is get in touch with your local title company. They'll have different closing cost apps and things like that. That gives a lot better information to your people, a lot more accurate. And they'll be able to sit down with you and kind of go over the closing costs, because the one thing that you don't want to do is have your buyer end up having to pay more for a house than was calculated. So the closing cost apps will actually help with that. Input. This is a way to go into your different listings and do changes to it. Add a new listing. I'll be having classes on it, so you'll be able to see all those different things. Market reports will actually give you some, if you're looking for information on different agents or different offices to see what kind of market share they have or information like that. But that is basically your MLS system. So does anybody have anything they need to look up? You want to do a quick tutorial on how to look up properties, how to look up a neighborhood, how to look up a city, schools? Okay, we'll go into one really quick here. If I go into quick search, I'm going to add in elementary school. And then go back. So one of the things that people ask for, especially here in Arlington, is one of the better elementary schools out there is Butler. There's 12 houses that are currently in Butler Elementary School. So if we look at those, it doesn't matter anything else. You can see that it ranges anywhere from 300 all the way up to 3.5 million. That'd be a nice CDA. It says that there's a property that came back on the market for whatever reason. If you click on it and go down to the bottom, it usually tells if it came back on the market for any reason. They'll say it. Sometimes it'll be financing. It might be title work. They didn't put anything on it. Let's go back there to this report. So it tells the address, it tells the subdivision that's in, square footage, bed, bath, garages, whether or not it has a pool in it. And then we can map it. So the different colors that you have here is the green are properties that are available. This one here is in a coming soon status. Does everybody know what coming soon means? Okay, coming soon is a different status. It means that they have not yet put the property to active status, that they're about ready to put it to active status. So they've already taken the pictures or waiting on whatever the seller requires in order for it to go active. It could be that they're waiting to have the house clean, they're waiting to clean out the garage, they're waiting to get the house painted or the landscaping done, whatever the case may be, where they're not ready to have active showings. They put it as coming soon. And that's the big thing, is you are not allowed to show a property that's in coming soon status. Now, what ends up happening, just so you guys know, is there are people that are making blind offers out there. They haven't seen the house, or they're happy with the way the house looks in the pictures, and they are writing offers on that house. So you have inspection periods that might protect you or whatever, but they are actually saying, I don't care about anything else. My people want to buy the house. Here's all the contracts, everything else like that. So you might end up seeing some properties going from coming soon to straight to pending, because there are people out there that do not care about the inspection period. They don't care about anything else. So they're waiving all that to be able to get an offer accepted. Now that comes down to due diligence, and I would be very careful on that, because it can bite you in the bottom. So all these different schools, that what they're saying is go to Butler Elementary. And so that's a different search that you might look at. Now, there's a couple things also to see. Oh, let's zoom in. So everybody know what this area is? This is a special area up in North Arlington. It's called the Viridian. It's unique because the Viridian occupies one zip code, 76005. So if people are searching for properties, instead of worrying about spelling out Viridian and subdivision or whatever, people just search zip code 76005. And after you've been in the business a while, you realize that there's also so this area down here is another master plan community, and it goes into Grand Peninsula and Mira Lagos. And that's in Grand Prairie. So this is Grand Prairie with Mansfield schools, whereas the Viridian is Arlington with HEB schools. So the nice thing about this is it's also got its own zip code, 75054. Other things that people see a lot of is this little area over here. So this is an area of Dallas that is right next to Grand Prairie. So if people look up in here for Grand Prairie and they can't find houses, they look over here in Duncanville and Cedar Hill and they can't find houses. They sometimes forget that this is Dallas. Just like over here. This little subdivision here, two subdivisions actually, those are Dallas also. They're Dallas with Grand Prairie zip code 75051, and they go to Grand Prairie schools. But if there's a fire, they do have an arrangement with Grand Prairie, so you'll have Grand Prairie fire trucks coming helping. But their nearest fire station is right about in there. That's actually the firefighter training base. So fire and police are Dallas over in that area. So those are just different little things that you'll see, especially working in this area. And you could always just talk to people that have been around for a long time. Things that I would suggest, if I could suggest things to you guys, is pick an area at least once a week. Go to criteria. Just do a basic search, 76013. There's 27 houses that are available in 76013. And let's look at a map. So this is the whole area that's 76013. If I go on just the actives, so if I go on results, there's 13 active properties. So I could say, or let's just do new listings. And I go down here to refine and narrow. So I've got 4 houses. Sounds good. Go and look at these 4 houses. At least once a week, go visit houses, because you'll do a couple things. You'll start building an inventory, you'll start building your knowledge, and you'll discover little neighborhoods that you don't know exist. My neighborhood is an old trailer park. They yanked out all the trailers back in the late 70s, and they built custom houses. And there's 5 different custom house builders in my neighborhood. It's a really unique neighborhood. There's 83 houses now. It used to be 82. Somebody built a house in there. But ours is a very unique neighborhood that is just down the street from here. But it's nothing like this neighborhood. It's still got the trees and everything else around it, but ours was built in the 79, so it's a little bit newer. It's a little bit bigger. but it's just nice. And you won't know about these neighborhoods unless you go drive them. Don't worry about doing anything else. Just go out and preview. When you call up showing time or you call up the agent to go out there, just say you're doing a quick preview. You could be in and out of a house inside of, I do it in less than 5 minutes. You guys being new in the business, it'll take you about 10 minutes. Go walk properties. You'll see all the different features. You'll see the different flooring choices. You'll see these floors. They're actually making a comeback in some areas right now. The wainscoting. This has got both tile and also a granite slab that's on top there. It's got the older stainless and black appliances. This one kind of looks like a flip to me, but you never know. Great big open patio. You won't know these things. You won't see how big the yard is unless you go out there and look at it. But anyway, that's my soapbox. Do we have any questions? No questions? I did that good at teaching the class that I don't have any questions.
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you're doing those searches and there's abbreviations, is there some place that has a key that tells you what all those abbreviations are?
There's plenty of places you can look on the internet that'll tell you all that stuff.
Because under
with Bernie-
flags, under flags, there was an abbreviation and coming soon or whatever, with a CS. And so we may not know all those abbreviations.
Okay, I will actually get a link and I will drop it to you guys. I've got a list of everybody and I'll add that to it.
Okay.
And well, this is Mandy. I just have a quick question. Are we, I was taking notes while you were talking, but do we get a recording of this by any chance?
I am recording it. I will be sending it out to you guys as well.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
There's also a lot of resources that are available on the internet. I've got a YouTube page. You could access it through arlingtonrealtor.com. And it's got a lot of videos on there as far as using the system. Probably people that talk a lot better than I do.
And I came on maybe about a minute late. Can you give me your information again? Your name?
I really
and
didn't give you
everything?
information. I'm sorry. So my name is Walt Lunam. I say that it's like Disney, except I don't got his money. Email address is walt@arlingtonrealtor.com. That's walt@arlingtonrealtor.com. Phone number here is 817-701-2490. 817-701-2490. And like I said, I'll be sending an email out to everybody with the recording, and all my information will be on there as well. We are
Thank you.
looking to open back up about the middle of July. The date's being announced here shortly, and then I'll be starting to do MLS classes here.
The only other question I had was on the, I guess it was email that we got, and it said that you had a course called MLS Easy as 1, 2, 3, but I didn't see that on the calendar.
It's about the same. It is the same. We have to actually change the classes because you can't use duplicates in our system. So
Okay,
MLS Basics, Easy as 1, 2, 3. Right now, what I'm doing is classes twice a month. First one's going to be on MLS Basics like this, and the second one's going to be on creating your own CMAs. That one is very important right now because a lot of people are fighting their taxes. So I'll be able to kind of go through all that stuff on the CMA class at the end of the month.
Okay, do you have a date on when that class will be?
Yes, it is the, hang on a second. So if I go into here, Go to our website. Calendars and classes. So here we are on that one, and then an intro to the CMA, 1 o'clock on Wednesday the 19th.
Okay.
And all this
this
stuff is
something we have to
available.
sign up-
Pardon me?
Will this be something we need to call to sign up for?
You should be able to click on the link, it goes in there. I've been doing some redesigning of all this stuff, so sometimes links aren't working, but just like this one, we had a couple of people that either called or emailed in, and I'll register you that way as well. So all these different classes, they're really good ones. Things to remember about training classes. If you guys are in this class, that means you guys are in your first 2 years, your SAE years. So there's going to be a lot of classes that are going to have CE hours attached. CE hours do not mean anything to you guys. You guys can't take, you can take whatever class you want, but paying for CE hours is going to be a waste of your money. Keep your money. If you want to take a class, you could always call, or you can send an email and say, hey, I'm still in SAE, Salesman's Annual Education. So can I take the course without paying? And you can still take the class, you can still listen in, you can still get all the information. You just don't have to pay for it, and you don't get credit for it. The only courses that you need to worry about right now is your SAE. And the only SAE that you could take, or the only CE that you could take that qualifies for SAE hours right now is GRI, Graduate Realtor Institute. There's a couple different things on there, and it is expensive, but it gets you not only the letters next to your name, the qualifications, designations, but it also satisfies your SAE hours. That's why there's no charge for this course. That's why there's no registration. That's why I didn't have to have everybody's video camera on. Those are things that are required when you're getting the credit hours. Any questions on that? So once again, if you guys need anything at all, you need help with running through something, I might not be able to help everybody when they call, but I could definitely make an appointment and call back, hopefully within the same day, and we could walk through on how to do something. Okay, the best thing you guys could do to be successful is get out there and look at properties. That's just my suggestion on how to make money in real estate. Any other questions? So
Well, so, sorry,
yes, Mandy.
sorry, this is Mandy. When you say look up properties, like even expired listings and stuff, or like,
You can. I used to make a lot of listings and a lot of money off of expired and for sale by owners. That is definitely
Okay.
a thing that you want to look at if you want to do it. The problem is now there's a lot of companies out there that are selling expired data. And so you've got last agent that I talked to with a high level of frustration was because they messed up on a listing input. And they thought the best thing they could do was delete it and start again. Well, they canceled their first listing, and when they canceled it, they showed up on that call list, and their clients got 50 phone calls in the first 2 hours between 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning the next
oh,
day.
wow.
So be
crazy.
very careful before you cancel a property on MLS. Talk to your broker. Make sure there's nothing else that can be done, because you don't want that. The agent just about got fired. She did not.
Oh,
She was
no.
able to save it, but she just got fired because these systems out there, they're getting people's cell phone numbers. And this was she wasn't a doctor, she was a therapist doctor. And could you imagine getting that many phone calls in that profession when you're dealing with your patients?
Oh,
It
no,
was-
no way.
It was
Yeah.
not a very good time for her or
Yeah.
for the agent. So be careful. Call and talk to your broker, call and talk to your office manager, call and talk to me. You don't want to have that happen. But going after expireds, you know, it takes a different personality, because the first thing they're going to do is get very, very upset at the agents.
Yeah.
You
Sounds
know,
good.
it doesn't matter what else happened. It's all your fault because you're a real estate agent. Any other questions? All right. Well, one of the things I like to do is I like to start on time and I like to end on time, because I know you guys' schedule is busy and everything else like that. So greatly appreciate you coming on. Just a reminder again about what I started with here for NAR resources, the C2EX. It's a great resource that has a lot of information on there, and it's a great designation to get. Other than that, I am done. You guys have all my contact information. I'll be sending out the video as soon as it's completed, and you guys have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Walt, if you hadn't hung up, I do have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering, I had prepaid for some extra CE classes through my college when I was getting my license. And you
Mhm.
said that getting those CE classes now would not be worth my time. So should I hold off for a year before I take those classes?
Well, if you paid for a company such as,
Champion is where I went.
where did you go?
Champion?
Okay. Now, the extra courses you paid for were those SAE courses. If they're,
I have legal 1, legal 2, ethics, and then I can pick 2 CE classes of my choice.
okay, you're gonna need the legal 1, you're gonna need legal 2, you're gonna need the ethics. Legal 1, we used to have it was legal 1, and then legal 2 was the ethics, but they changed things here and NAR added the ethics. So you're gonna have to have both of those for your first renewal anyway. So might as well take those. The 2
I did
SAE.
take the ethics through your class as well.
Right. Okay. We have a lot of good instructors for that. They do the best of making a very boring subject attainable. So, but the 2 CE courses, if they don't qualify, you might want to see if one of them actually does qualify for the contracts. That's it. So you have to take one of the courses that's contracts related. And that could be a contracts update. That could be understanding the farm and ranch. There's different. So if you have that, that's a requirement. And then the other one would just be something you want to learn about. But I would ask the people over at Champions if they were CE courses or if they are SAE courses.
Okay, if they are CE courses, I can get my SAE courses through you?
You can, SAE courses would be through Champions also. They're pretty specific courses. They have some pretty stringent requirements. We don't have anything other than the GRI courses right now. And the GRI courses, I think, start at $300. So I'd go ahead and just take the ones online with Champions and be done with it.
Thank you very much for your time.
No problem at all. Have a great day.